So now let's simplify this expression. Since we have a fraction divided by a fraction, we realize that we're going to keep, change, flip before we can start canceling. We also know that we're going to have to factor each and every one of these expressions. So let's get them factored and flipped, and then we'll see what we can cancel out. The first numerator, 1 minus x squared, is a difference of two squares, so it'll factor into 1 minus x, 1 plus x. Okay, this trinomial here, when we get ready to factor it, the first thing you look for is a greatest common factor. And when I factor a 2 out of here all the way across, I get x squared minus 5x minus 6. Now remember, a trinomial factors into two binomials. Since this does not have a coefficient in front of the x, I can just use the unfoiling. Minus sign right here tells you that you're going to have one of each. And now you need to find a pair of numbers that will multiply to give you -6, but combine to give you -5. Now be careful, because your first instinct is to say 2 and 3. Well, -2 plus +3 or +2 plus -3, neither of those give you -5. So we have to go to -1 +6 or +1 -6. Since 5 is going to be negative, it's going to be -6 and +1. So I can come over here and write down factored form of that. Now, for the second half, we're going to change that division sign to multiplication. I'm keeping, I'm changing, and now I'm going to flip as I go, since those are pretty simple to factor. The old denominator becomes my new numerator, and it has a greatest common factor of 6. So when I factor 6 out, I get x plus 1. Okay? Now, the old numerator becomes my new denominator, greatest common factor of 2, and I get x minus 1. Alright. Now, since these two are multiplied, they're just multiplied all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom. So let's see what can we go ahead and cancel. X plus 1, I can either cancel it, I can cancel it with either one, because 1 plus x is the same thing as x plus 1, so, but just to keep it matching, I'll do this. Alright, now 6 will reduce with 2 and leave me 3 up here. So let's clean this up a little bit. Let's see what do we have left. For a numerator, I have 3 times 1 minus x, 1 plus x. And my denominator, I have 2 times x minus 6, x minus 1. Okay? Nothing matches automatically right here, but remember a little trick we've learned? If you have a difference and the numbers are the same but they're in a different order, there is something you can do to change that and make them match. And it has to do with multiplying by a -1. If you multiply a binomial difference by -1, all it does is flip the numbers. But you can't just multiply by -1. You can multiply by +1. So what we do is we say I'm going to multiply by -1 times -1. And you can put one on the top, one on the bottom, whatever you want to do. Now when I multiply this times -1, I get x minus 1, which then cancels with that. And that was pretty messy, so let's clean that up. Alright, I have a 3. That's an equal sign. And I have my 1 plus x. I also have this -1. You can go ahead and multiply that times the 3 to combine it. Then down here I have 2 times x minus 6. So, a little bit of a trick there.